Hi guys, the camera's this way. Hi guys, my name is Ariel and today I am actually going to be talking about books that I have both read and want to read that were published in 2019 that I absolutely love the covers of. Obviously, this is really subjective. I love book covers. I am one of those people that immediately wants to read a book based on how good the book cover is. And I know the common phrase is, you should never judge a book by its cover. But hear me out. People 100% judge books based on the cover. There have been so many times where a book sounds interesting and I'll check it from the library or whatever, but for whatever reason, the cover is just so damn ugly. I cannot force myself to pick it up. And I don't know how popular that is, or that just is like a me problem and like I need to get over myself, which is probably true. I just think that there's so much value to book covers, and I can't remember who said it, but I did come across somebody saying that the biggest thing about buying books and collecting them on your shelves is that it's kind of its own piece of artwork, and that people are drawn to art and people are drawn towards collecting art to, in a sense, express themselves, if that makes sense, or at least that's how I interpret it. As I love book covers, and this introduction is way too long. I just basically want to talk about my favorite book covers that were published in 2019. A lot of these books I don't remember the synopsis of. If I happen to glance over at the Goodreads synopsis, I might explain a little bit about it, or at least say like if it's fantasy or contemporary literary fiction or whatever. I actually did not read very many books published in 2019, which I'm pretty surprised about. So looking at the books that I read in 2019, the most obvious one is The Wicked King. I absolutely love this cover. It is so beautiful. The colors are so vibrant, and it just really explains kind of what the book is about. I thought that was really effective, beautiful fantasy cover. I also really like the cover of If Then by Kate Hope Day. This was a book that I read during the reading rush, and I didn't really get to talk too much about it, but I absolutely adored it. It's one of my favorite sci-fi books I've ever read. I initially gave it like a 4 or 4.5, but I keep thinking about it, so I want to give it like a higher rating. If you're interested at all in reading this, it's like the TV show Dark from Netflix. If you have watched that show or are interested in like weird time travel stuff, definitely pick that up. And I also really love the cover of Three Women by Lisa Taddeo. I read this a few months ago on audiobook, and the physical copy, especially this edition, is just stunning. If I ever do decide to buy the book for myself, I would definitely look for this copy. So talking about books that I want to read, plot is obviously a big important factor, as I mentioned before, but the cover has to blow me away in a sense. Not blow me away, maybe I'm being too dramatic, which isn't very surprising. Doesn't take a lot to please me, but at the same time, I feel like I'm a really fickle person. So the first book that I see on my list is The Cold in Her Bones. It's a young adult YA fantasy retelling of some sort. I don't exactly remember what story it retells, but the cover just initially, like, I just love the art on it, and I saw it on the bookstore one day and I immediately added it to my TBR and Goodreads. The next one is Dig by A.S. King. This has been around BookTube a lot lately. I've never read A.S. King before, but I'm very interested in picking this book in particular up. The cover is just so beautiful that it makes me want to pick up the book even more. Also, I really love What Red Was. This one is a contemporary adult fiction. I tend to gravitate towards either really artsy covers or with just a little bit of human features on it, or a mix of both, as seen previously. But this one I just loved it so much. I think it just randomly came up on my Goodreads dashboard and I was like, I don't even know what you're about, but I want to read you. The Disappearing Earth by Julia Phillips. That one, it just, yeah. I think it has to do with two siblings in Russia, lost in like the Russian winter wilderness or something like that. I think it's a thriller or a mystery as well. A lot of mystery thriller covers I think are really cheesy, but this one is very much to my taste. I really just love the art of this cover. Next book is Paper Wasp by Lauren Acampora. I just love the mixed media on this cover. I just think it's just absolutely beautiful, and it just drew my eye immediately. I think it's some sort of contemporary thriller set in Hollywood. Magic for Liars. This is a little bit more of a more simplistic cover. I love the black hand in front of the red background. I do want to give a special shout out to the Book of X. This is another book that I'm really interested in reading. I heard it's very weird and has a bit of magical realism in it, which I'm starting to get more and more interested in. It looks like a painting on the cover. It's one of those pictures that you have to look at it for a little while before you piece together what the image actually is. Also, the Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This edition is just absolutely gorgeous. I have never read Night Circus, and I'm more interested in reading this one before reading Night Circus, but whoever designed the cover of this really knew what they were doing. Also, I have Little Weirds. Jenny Slate is a comedian, and I believe this is her first published memoir, or maybe it's a collection of essays, I'm not sure. It's some sort of nonfiction book. But I just love the cute, quirky, very simple cover that was chosen for this. I also really love the cover for Trust Exercise. There are also a couple collections of short stories and poetry that I really want to get to. One of them is Soft Silence by Franny Choi. That is a collection of poetry about the intersection between sexuality and her Asian identity, as well as a collection of horror short stories called Song for the Unraveling World. I just love black and white covers when they're done well, and I feel like the illustrations on this cover is really terrifying but also very effective. I also am very interested in reading Sabrina and Corina, which is a collection of indigenous Latina women from sisters, mothers, daughters, their interactions with the outside world and with themselves. The cover is just so beautiful. And then the last book that I want to mention is A Woman Is No Man. This is a story about the lives of conservative Arab American women living in the United States. The title initially kind of caught me off guard. I feel like the title is striking enough and will draw more attention to the book itself if it is as bold as it is in this edition. And I'm just very interested in reading it. The synopsis sounds absolutely fascinating, and I hope to get to it in 2020. So yeah, this is a very self-indulgent video. I absolutely love book covers of all types, as you can see, but I do have a very interesting taste. I hope you found this at least a little bit interesting. Hopefully there are some books in here that you've never heard of before and are not interested in reading because I've showed you the covers or the synopsises sounded intriguing just by themselves. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!